Hi everybody, welcome to another video. Today's video is a very exciting one. I am showing you a new pattern that just launched. This is the Forget Me Not Patterns ADELINE wrap top and dress. So I was a lucky pattern tester for this absolutely gorgeous pattern. If you are familiar with my channel and if you followed me during Vlogmas, you would have seen when I was working on that Sabrina skirt with the leopard print and the neon piping. So that was from the same pattern company. It's called Forget Me Not Patterns. Fairly new pattern company. I think they have about 4 or so patterns out. Now this one, when they posted the sneak peek and the testing call, I fell in love instantly. The pleating details on this pattern are obviously what drew me to it, and I'm sure that is what will draw a lot of you guys as well. So this pattern features what they call dramatic diagonal pleats, and I completely agree. The pleats are quite unique and I've never seen pleats like this on a pattern before. And looking at the sneak peek pictures, I thought it was going to be very complicated, especially the pleated sleeve, but it actually was not. Bearing in mind this pattern is targeted more to an intermediate sewer. However, I think that if you are an adventurous beginner and you like a challenge, then you would have fun working on this one as well. Right, so like I said, ADELINE is a wrap top or dress, and I did make both versions. The top I made during the testing period, and that was more like a wearable muslin, and then the dress is my final piece. It is a true wrap, so it does have a wrap tie that passes through an opening on one side and then ties on the other side. Obviously this is a major plus because if you put on some weight or lose a little bit, then the tie is adjustable. Or even if you're feeling bloated on the day when you wear this, then you can just loosen the tie a little bit. So the top is a peplum top, and I will insert the line drawings, and then the dress is a knee-length dress, well, on me at least, and I'm 5'4" for reference. The pattern is drafted for a curvy figure and for a B cup. As you guys know already, I'm nowhere near to a B cup. I'm a double D cup, and in sewing I usually make a C or D cup. But because of the pleats and the way the pattern is drafted, there's ample room up top for the bust, and like I said, the tie makes it adjustable as well, so that does help. So fortunately I did not have to make an FBA on this pattern. So apart from there being the top and dress options, there are other options as well in this pattern. Let's talk about the sleeves. So for my top version, I went with just a plain short sleeve, but there's also a 3/4 sleeve, and then there's also this pleated sleeve, which I absolutely adore. And with this pleated sleeve, you can also do the 3/4 length. And this sleeve comes with a sleeve facing. And I just quickly want to give you a little glance at the pattern piece for this sleeve because it's really interesting and I've never seen anything like it before. And just looking at it, I was very, very intimidated. But the construction of this sleeve is so clever, especially with the use of the facing. I really, really enjoy this. And I feel like if I may adapt this sleeve for some other patterns. Then you have 2 different necklines that you can do as well, and I did the plain one on my top, and then for the dress I did the shawl collar. And y'all, I love this shawl collar. I feel like if every time I make this pattern, I'm going to use the shawl collar and the pleated sleeve. Like, these are what make the pattern special for me. This pattern had a lot of firsts for me. This was my first time doing a sleeve like this. This was my first time doing a shawl collar. Definitely my first time doing pleats like this. Here's a little glance at the front pattern piece and the way the pleats are. As you can see, they are diagonal pleats. So this is a really, really fun pattern, especially if you just want to give yourself a little challenge and do something out of the ordinary. I highly, highly recommend this one. In terms of sizing and adjustments, for my tester version, the top I made size 38 and I shortened 1 inch at the waist. Now the waist length was fine, but I did find the upper body and the waist to be a little bit snug, so I went up 1 size for this one. So this is size 40, and again I shortened 1 inch at the waist. I also did a 3/8 inch narrow shoulder adjustment. The next time I may have to do a full bicep adjustment because the sleeve is a little bit close on me. I'm not gonna lie, I've gotten really chunky in the arms recently, so I'm not surprised by that at all. Anyway, this pattern goes from size 28 to 48, and I'll put a little clip of the size chart up just so you can have an idea of the measurement range. My fabric is, it's like a chambray weight denim. I don't want to call it chambray because I don't know for sure, but I also don't want to call it denim because it really does not feel like denim. It's almost like a denim shirting, which would be chambray though, right? Okay, let's call it chambray. So my fabric is a dark blue chambray. The shawl collar is finished with a facing, and then from the waist down, the hem is finished with bias binding. I did not have any bias binding to match, so I used black, but unless the dress blows up, I don't think anybody's going to know that there's black bias binding in there. For the top version, the entire neckline and hem are finished with bias binding, and I used white on that one. The top is a little bit sheer. It's a yellow and white stripe seersucker fabric from Fabric Mart. It's a little bit sheer for this style that kind of folds over, because then you could see the underneath of the second layer. And I don't know, something about it is giving me like Scrubs vibes, I guess, because of the stripe. This, however, I absolutely love this. I feel like this looks so classy, kind of a little bit romantic, and I feel like you can wear this dress to a lot of different occasions. I feel like this could be a good office dress or a good church dress, and depending on your fabric, it could also be a good night out dress. Now, I do have one confession to make. Y'all know I always like to take in things at my lower body to show off my hips. Do not, and I repeat, do not take in this dress, because that gorgeous tulip shape at the bottom, the way the dress was shaped before I took it in, it came out at the hip and then came down. When I took it in, I found that I actually made my hips look straighter, and it was looking better before. I have to admit, Johanna knew what she was doing when she created the shape of that dress, and I should not have messed with it. Also, taking it in caused the front to not close over as much as it should, so I do have to be more aware of blowing up and also sitting down. I have to be careful when I sit down. So my plan is to remake this dress, maybe in the same fabric, or if I find another fabric I like, to remake the dress as is on the pattern paper, with the exception of my bodice alterations. What I'm going to do is put up a selfie of before I took in the dress, and then you'll see my final photos and you could compare for yourself. But I personally think that the shaping was way better before I took it in. So that is my boo-boo. Sorry, Johanna. I won't do it again. Of course, I'll put in pictures of the top as well. This one I'm keeping for sure though. I'll just have to be mindful of my flap situation, and I know for sure I'm going to make a lot more of this dress version with the shawl collar and with the pleats. And I also think my mom would love this dress. So yeah, I don't have too much more to say. I want to keep this video short and sweet so I could put in a lot of pictures. I did not get to take any twirls. I completely forgot because we're still on lockdown, and I snuck out and actually went into town to do these photo shoots. So like for the whole time I was like keeping my eye out for police to pass. So it completely slipped me to do a twirl for you guys. And now the dress is all creasy. I don't think it even makes sense. But in any case, here's the back. I'm not sure if you can see the pleats and the side and front. If you have been looking for a wrap pattern, this is definitely now one of my top favorites, and I highly recommend you give it a try. Not every testing experience is all happy-go-lucky rainbows and butterflies, but this one was an amazing experience. And it's because, first of all, Johanna is an absolute sweetheart, and then the other members of the testing group was so nice as well, and we were all able to help each other on this one. So I really enjoyed testing for forget-me-not patterns, and I also enjoyed making these. Like, this was a really enjoyable sew, and I loved doing all those new techniques that I learned. I even enjoyed doing the pleating. Like, it was just something different from the ordinary, and I really enjoyed that. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, and if you like this pattern, I am going to link it down below so that you can head over to her website and see what other good stuff she has on there as well. So that is it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and all of my pictures. I really appreciate you joining me for today's video, and I will catch you in my next one. Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe, and of course comment below. All right, I'm out. Bye.